Hello.
How are we?
Oh, we're good. After the technical issues, we're
For
good.
the
Uh,
first time today. Hello, how are you?
yes. Hello again. But yeah, Martin, thank you for joining us today. We'll talk about the festival in a bit. What I'd like to do is get a bit of your background, if that's all right. So where you sort of, your origin story, if you will.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Um, I sort of fell into my curiosities of music and the industry back in the early 2000s, I'd say, around the Agincourt days, back when it was good. And I hope it's still good, but back in the heyday where people actually turned up every week and
Yes.
venues were packed. Um, so there was quite a bit going on to be interested in and curious about then. So I've always paid attention to everything. I've never just sort of gone to a gig or gone to a club night and just enjoyed it for what it is. I examine, so I've always paid attention to what's that guy doing, what's that guy doing, what's that guy doing, and that's just eventually got me to um want to try and do shit myself and be
Yeah.
more involved in that world. And so through various stages, I started becoming um, what's the word, like friendly with noteworthy people within the industry and musicians and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
um, managed to have opportunities presented to me that put me in a place where I could have the knowledge to start doing stuff myself, and that includes playing music for bands or whatnot. So from the musical side of things, I started out the band Gutlocker um, with with Craig, the singer. Um, we did that for a while. Um, After that, I then went on to start doing things like press and reviewing shows and
Yeah.
um, dabbled a little bit with promotion and putting on shows in various places and um, just really dived myself into the thick of it and try and do a bit of everything. So I do a bit of sound at gigs and promoting. I'm booking as an agent for a selection of bands and um, plus Depth Fest and upon a million other things that I'm trying to sort of merge together into this little deprivation family.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I played for. I went on after moving west. I became friends with Joseph, the old drummer of the band Ectomorph
Yep.
from Hungary.
Yep.
And I ended up joining his current band, Influence. So I was playing with that for a while, up until we lost the drummer, and we've not been able to replace the drummer since. So that sort of went on hold. They're hard to find.
They are.
Um, yeah. So, and then yeah, through various other means, I ended up being introduced to Ryan McCombs, the singer of Soil, and now back with Drowning Pool. Um, and working with him, managed to work together a new acoustic band to do his like stripped bare acoustic stuff, and
Yeah.
we sort of worked that together and got everything busy and did shows and all sorts with that up until the point where he, rejoined Drowning Pool and his schedule's been full on for the
Yes.
last sort of year or so. If he's back in the area, it's just for maybe a week or so. So
Yeah.
it's not much. There's not much room for us to, you know, put what we put.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, busy man,
Yeah, I
really.
was going to say. I mean, you got your finger in many pies, if you will. Um, to
Mm.
not think of a totally different thing altogether. Irons in the fire, I think, is the actual one I wanted to think. But fingers in the pie. I think that's even better. Um, um, but yeah, I mean, well, like I say, with Depravation Festival, you had your first one last year.
Yeah.
Um, but what made you want to put on a festival? What was your sort of, because like you said, I'm
Um,
involved in booking and stuff like that. But what was your sort of main, you know?
the Debt Fest is like it was a really petty, selfish drop in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I've always like had this idea that I wanted to do something like that and try and I don't know, just put something on cool. But ultimately, I I've always gone to Bloodstock and various other things every year because it's my it's just mine and the wife's breather and refresh for the year. It helps stable our minds going into that sort of shit. Um, and last year, my parents, who normally look after the kids so that we can go,
Yeah.
refused to have them, and said, "You can take your kids on holiday this year. You're not going to the festival." Um, so we were accepting of that. That was fine, but I needed something.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, fuck you. I'm just gonna do my own one. I need to go to something.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and I had the facilities and the access to be able to, you know, put something on through just knowing the guy that ran the venue and
Yeah.
um, stuff like that. So I just knuckled down, put something together, and surprisingly quick, um, just went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
how did you find it running a festival? I mean, when I saw you there, you looked very tired. I think that was probably the overwhelming thing. But
yeah, I mean, I don't really know because I'm Depth Fest last year in particular was nothing in comparison to 99% of the things that go on in the country. It was this tiny little speck in the gig world, um, but it's still quite a lot of work coordinating X amount of bands and changeovers and trying to make sure that it's organized well enough that there isn't delays and there isn't things for people to complain about.
yeah.
And most of the attention and the focus and the exhausting part of it was um, making sure that the bands were happy and that the bands felt welcome and that they went away happy and that the people, the customers and stuff were having a good time and being present and chatting to everyone and just making sure that everyone had a good experience.
Yeah.
And I think that was more the tiredness. I mean, I was doing audio recordings of every band. I was doing videos of every band. I was doing photos of every band, and I had this little routine. And um, as well as doing the hospitality and welcoming every band when they turned up and getting them to sign that big old poster that I did. And
Yeah.
so, I had like this routine built up for the day, or well, for both days. There, it was say hello to this band, tell them where to go, what to do, where to park, run back in, run up to the sound booth, push record, run back down, film a song,
Yeah.
take pictures of the next song, and then go and welcome the next band, run back, and it's just a constant loop for the whole period of time doing that. So, um, yeah, it was a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's
And
all right.
yeah, are you delegating more this year then? Have you got people to take photos,
Um,
things like that?
yeah, I mean, with the size it was last year, there wasn't so much interest from people of you know beneficial from the beneficial element of it.
Yeah.
If you're talking things like press and stuff like that, it wasn't really a big enough thing to attract anyone like that. Um, so where this year, there's a bit more on the lineup to attract people. Um, that's kind of alleviating needing to get pictures and needing to get various bits because they'll sort of be covering that in what they're doing. So it's little details like that really. I'm not there's there's on the day help in and making sure I'm not doing as much
Yeah.
as I was last year. Especially with having two stages this year and um, a lot more bands and an extra day. I don't. It, I've I've tried to remove some of the on the day work so I can just focus on the people pleasing element of it. Um, because it's been a year of one bloody problem after another trying to put this year together.
Yes.
I don't want to get there and have to just not see any of it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of all the bands that are playing, and I want to be able to enjoy some of it because at the end of the day, I've organised it. I've done all the hard work. I want to, you know, let me
Yeah.
have my moment. It's just 3 days.
Oh, that's
So
fair enough. I mean, I mean, compared to last year, you've had an extra day. And I mean, it's I just let people know the dates and stuff. It's the 30th of August to the 1st of September. So it's right at the end of the summer holidays, if you will, if you're a parent. Um, but end of that sort of summer run of the big sort of festivals that kind of kick around at that time. And it's headlined by Raging Speedhorn, Infected Rain, and Evile. Um, how have you found, like, from last year? Obviously, yeah, you had bands playing, but obviously this is kind of a shift because some of these bands are national bands or international bands, I should say, because Effective Rain are coming over
yeah,
there, and you've obviously got Raging
yeah.
Speedhorn, who are, not to. We'll go through the rest of the sort of like lineup, as you will,
Mhm.
in a moment. But like, how have you found it this year with that sort of like caliber of band?
Um, I've had to be a bit more organised on paper, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um, I've had to try and make sure that everything that's going on is spreadsheeted and stuff like that. That's where last year I just knew everything off the top of my head, but this year I kind of need to keep track because there's agreements and those sort of agreements that are in place with various agents and stuff. You've got to stick to it because if you don't, they have kept track of it, and
yes,
um, so it's a bit more official, really, because I'm dealing with um, proper agents.
yes,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that um, in particular infected rains agents sort of given us the time of day. Um, I mean, I know Speedhorn, Discharge, and Evile. They're known for doing the sort of out of town venues and the smaller
yeah,
venues, is where infected rain is they're like a band that's been pushed quite hard to do the bigger shit and the sort of stuff. They're they're being pushed to be a band that wouldn't play Swindon.
yes,
You know,
yeah.
they're they're a major city band. So to be allowed to have them, um, I'm quite grateful.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, the rest of the line, we'll go through some. Obviously, you mentioned Discharge. I've got Red Method. I enjoyed them when I last saw them. Saw them last year in Southampton. Um, and you got Divine Chaos as well.
Yeah,
So I've got a whole written down here. Project Renegade,
yeah,
Mother Vulture, Chugga Boom. I saw Chugga Boom last year as well. Same thing. Um, Dead Label. Is that Dead Label? Can't remember the other one. Yeah, Dead Label. Sorry, some of these logos I haven't got them written down as the logos themselves. But this year you've got a second stage. I mean, last year you didn't have that as such. I think, did you have
no,
acoustics going on in the main sort of bar area?
no,
No.
no. I think he put like a pub band up there in the
Yeah,
evening.
yeah.
Um,
I remember something.
but yeah, that was separate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this year, second stage, you've got them headlined by Gut Locker, which you mentioned earlier, your former band. You've got Catalyst and Iron Altar as well as the other headliners on the other days. Um, and Elimination as well. a good sort of like thrash band from what I recall.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's loads of bands on there. I won't go through. I mean, I've got to mention Nox Pulso, just purely because of my prior connection to them and them
Yeah.
friends of mine. Um, and they're opening the Saturday on the main stage. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of bands. Go, I mean, people go check it out. They can look up Dep Fest on or Depravation Fest on all the socials. And also you've got depravationfestival.com as well for people to go and look, buy tickets, all that kind of good
Dep-
stuff.
Depravationfest.com
Oh, yeah, sorry. Check. Oh, okay. I've got
or
Depravation
or
Festival
just
here.
depravation.co.uk.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Any of those, go find your tickets. It's in Swindon. It's at Levels nightclub in Swindon, formerly Level 3, formerly Underground. But it's on the back of the
Formerly
Rolleston,
Furnace.
yeah. But it's on the back of the Rolleston Arms. So you've got a whole pub at the front, a good bar. I've obviously I I would say obviously I've played the venue when it was underground and when it was Level 3 under that name, and it's a nice venue. It's got plenty of viewing area. It's got a bar wrapped around it so people can get drinks and everything like that. And the venue's just been refurbished as well, I understand.
Yeah, man, it looks great.
I saw some of the pictures, like some of the murals on the wall and everything that they've done, the artwork and all that kind of.
Yeah, they've gone through all this like just incredible like cyberpunk type um artwork all over the place, and um it just looks really cool because it's sort of everywhere, but it's tasteful, you know.
Yeah,
Um, with all the other stuff that they've done and like how they've cut away at the bar a bit and done all this other stuff to the venue, so it all ends up working together. Um, and just little details like putting like a slant on the front of the stage to try and stop people putting their drinks on it and protect gear a bit more and stuff like that. Is
that's
little
cool.
details, and fixed all the put new booths in and stuff so that the chairs aren't falling apart anymore, and um, it looks great. And they're digging up the fucking dance floor that's in there um, to flatten it out completely,
Brilliant.
which would be cool.
Yes, that would be cool because that was always
Yeah.
something I was always like sort of wary
It's a
of,
risk.
especially when walking through the venue as well. But
No
yeah,
matter no matter how many pits I've seen in that place, though, I've never seen someone fall down those stairs on that dance
no,
floor.
you got some good pit artists there, I think, in Swindon. They know the dimensions, but
Yeah,
yeah, having it all one level, I think that's gonna be a great like
yeah,
asset to that venue because it is a nice venue, and obviously being in Swindon, Swindon's like it's never been rated highly. I mean, I love Swindon just purely because of a family connection there. But
yeah.
it's good to see stuff like this in towns like that that you know that could do with something. I mean, I know there's an alternative culture in Swindon, um,
Mhm.
just purely from obviously playing there, but also getting to know people from that area, um,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it does need stuff like this. I mean, you've got this like lineup here, which is for any other festival as well. Is it's a big lineup, sort of talking, any of the sort of like small to mid festivals that you get in the UK. You've
Mhm.
stacked this one with a lot of like UK talent, if you will, and international talent.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so for anyone that's wanting ticket, it's the 30th of August to the 1st of September. We're going to plug it. We'll try and get as much plugging out of the way as possible.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you can obviously get
It
tickets
needs it,
online,
man.
get the tickets online and
Yeah.
everything. I take it there as like, obviously day tickets and then there's like weekend tickets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're traveling
Yeah.
out of town, there is a hotel nearby, um, a travel lodge, I think it is.
Oh, there's all sorts. There's a
Yeah,
lot
I'm
around.
just like giving people options here, like traveling into Swindon. Look out for the big roundabout. It's one thing I will say. Uh, that's an excuse for a roundabout. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's it looks like good fun. So hopefully you'll get a lot of people because I know last year you just about broke even.
Yeah.
Take a few quid, and obviously this year you've gone for it this year in this respect, and you've had like like I know you've had moments with not knowing where necessarily it would be in Swindon, and all that kind of stuff.
God.
But we now know it's definitely going
Yeah.
to
What
be
a
that
panic.
venue. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and you've got also
Yeah.
yeah, we won't go into the detail. It's fine. But yeah,
No, I'm not someone to cancel stuff. I'll see
yeah,
it through.
yeah,
If I lose money, I lose money. Anything, not just this.
yeah,
If you lose, you lose. Just commit and go through with it. See what happens.
yeah. Still happens, and you kept with it through
I'll
a
either
lot.
be happy or sad.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, some of the stuff that you've like kind of dealt with is commendable. That you have managed to keep this going because like a lot of people would have stopped and would have
Yeah,
reassessed and looked at other alternatives and stuff like that. But sort of knowing a bit at the back end, I know it's been a trial for you on that respect. So
been
uh,
one thing after another, dude. But we
yeah,
make it happen. I'll make it
yeah,
happen.
you
Well,
make.
I have made it happen, but
I was gonna say you have made it happen. It's happening. We're not doing this because it's not happening.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a lineup for like any kind of metal fair. Like Raging Speedhorn, absolutely amazing band. Um,
Mm.
and they're gonna start the damn festival on the Friday night. So the rest of it's gonna keep going up from there, hopefully. But if not, I mean, Infected Rain are a fantastic band. If anyone hasn't checked them out, they should.
Mm.
Absolutely fantastic band.
Yeah, great.
Eville have been around for a while, haven't they? Um,
Yeah,
yeah. I think I've got a couple of their albums somewhere. I think are they the
it's
one that did. It might have been. I
it's
can't remember if it was, but when I used to get promo CDs, I think it was Evil. But what they did, they cut their album up into 100 pieces, basically. So when you like try to copy the CD, you get 100 MP3s of segments of songs. So
oh,
stop it getting like pirated and stuff like that. I think it was them.
bad idea.
No, it was a good idea, but it was like a pain in the ass if you wanted to play it anywhere because you got this like some CD players would stop and give you like a 2 second thing in between the bits. But once it was a crazy. It was the only time I ever saw it, to be honest.
Right.
It's what it is. Um,
Yeah, it's taken like its own sort of like each day to me feels like it's got its own sort of vibe, like the Friday is quite, punchy, riff focused stuff in it.
yeah,
Um, and then like the Saturday, it's got like a theme to the music. I mean, there's some pretty heavy stuff on there, but they all seem to sort of tie in quite well with each other. And it's the same for the Sunday. It's very fast and thrashy and
yeah.
um, obviously punk with Discharge. But
No, I mean
yeah,
you got something for any discerning metalhead, basically, on that lineup.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean you obviously got that going. What bands are you particularly looking forward to? Are there any you like haven't seen, or are you really looking forward to like obviously the whole thing? But are there any ones
Um,
you know?
to be fair, like I've probably seen most of them. Just through either playing shows in the past or being around a lot of local gigs and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, there's a few on there I haven't, like Inquire Within. I'm looking forward to seeing. Evile, definitely looking forward to seeing. Divine Chaos, Project Renegade. I mean, the effort they're making to just come and play this one show,
yeah,
they deserve anyone's attention. Um, and Dog Tired, I always love
yeah.
seeing those guys because they're solid.
Nice.
Um, and well, I have to give a shout out to Mother Vulture because what those guys managed to do is impressive, really fucking impressive. Um, the sort of venues they're selling out, the size they're at, they're still technically a small town band, aren't they? But they're doing really bloody well, and they're doing it all themselves. So
That's good.
um, it's good going.
Nice, nice. So obviously, festival again. There's tickets available. Um,
Yep,
before they sell out, let's say, which is what we're hoping for. But
that would
what
be
was
nice.
yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. But what I was
I
wondering,
just want it to be busy.
huh?
I just want it to be busy. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. Make it worthwhile. Make it because otherwise stuff like this doesn't happen. And there's been a
Yeah.
thing recently of people getting out to gigs or getting people out to gigs. And yeah, it's just sort of like stuff like this that you're putting on out of your own sort of pocket and everything. And you're just trying to make something in a town that doesn't have it currently, but there is a sort of, in the surrounding areas as well, there is an alternative following. So it's just sort of trying to get people out to these shows, festivals and things like that, not just the big ones.
Mm.
Um, but what I want to talk to you about as well, you've got other things sort of planning and stuff like that. You've got your DMC conference as well.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, there's not much to say on that at the moment. I'm been
no,
a bit swamped with other stuff, but no, not at the moment.
no,
Um, yeah, I've been quite busy working on other stuff that's using a bit more of my attention right this minute.
fair enough.
So,
Well, that brings me on to the next
um,
as well then, which is something you've been having your attention on, which
yeah.
is the charity single thing with artists that are playing
Mm.
this year. Um, Tell us about that. What's your what is it? What is it? Was it what you're going to do with it?
Man, such a cool project. Like, I'm so glad I came up with it. um, so I wanted to do something that was a bit different and is not something that I've seen any other events sort of try and do or well try and do. Um, so I wanted to try and come up with something that um, helped Depravation sort of stand out a little bit as this festival does this really cool thing.
Yeah,
Um, so I thought about doing a song that was um, that had inspiration from Band-Aid's "Do They Know It's Christmas," uh, Roadrunner United,
yeah.
um, and then a band called Bancamero,
Okay.
um, which are like they're a band that's got like 20 odd singers. So it's always like a group of guys. It's beer music. Um, so I I sat up in this room here and just came up with a riff and presented it to a few people and started just asking people if they'd been interested in being a part of doing this song,
Yeah,
um, with the intention of it, having no cost attached to it and to put it out and try and raise money for a charity, which I chose the Sophie Lancaster Foundation to do it for.
yeah.
Um, so so I sent out this guitar riff and um, the dude then took what I did and turned it into a full length song. And then I sent that off to a drummer who came back and said, shorten it, it's too long. So I shortened it, sent it back to him. He
Oh,
recorded drums and sent it back to me, and so on and so forth. That just kept going and going and going. So it's got um, 17, 18 musicians on it in total.
nice.
Um, so there's like three different guitar solos that was done by three different guitarists. There's the main guitar, drums. I had a couple of people that were going to be working on the bass, but very, very close to the deadline. Just busy lifestyles got in the way, and I ended up having to do it myself. So, um, and then a shit ton of singers. Um, so, so yeah, as I was getting everything back, I was sort of sat up here and trying to place everything because if if you did it all in one, it was a lot
Yeah,
of bloody work to to try and play with. I mean, there must have just been 80, 90 tracks worth of just vocals that I
Yeah.
was working with. So yeah, so luckily I was doing it as a vocalist sent me something. I was like, right, let's put it on, cut it around, move it around, put it where I want it. And
Yeah.
so because I was doing it sort of one at a time, it weren't so bad. But when I gave all the tracks over to the sound engineer that's mixing it, he was a bit taken back by it. But but yeah, I mean it's with the sound engineer at the moment. He's been doing some work on it. He sent me a progress uh export the other day to listen to. Um, it's sounding great, really cool. Um, yeah, really cool project. And it's all focused around like mental health and stuff as well. So the the sort of journey that the song takes you on is almost like schizophrenic and arguing with yourself and
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff to reaching a point where you're sort of accepting of what these thoughts are and tying those thoughts into a community, which is the metal community and the underground community and that, and that we're all sort of in it together.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's
Cool.
it's nearly ready to go. I'm just waiting for waiting to find out. Uh, I'm hoping to go and finalize it with him. Maybe start next week,
Yeah.
and then it will go off to be mastered. Um, and yeah, the guy mixing it is the producer at Earthworm Studios, who's sponsoring the second stage.
Okay.
Um, and this is sort of the payment for that. You know, it's like, it seems you're sponsoring the stage. Can you do this for me? That was kind of our agreement, really.
Nice.
And then the guy mastering it, he's done stuff for Rolling Stones, Linkin Park, a lot of U2 stuff. Um,
Cool.
yeah, Nine Inch Nails. He's got a decent portfolio. So
Yeah. Nice. What is the single called?
Weirdo Mosher Freak.
Cool. And do you have a release date for it yet, or are you just waiting for it to get it back and then?
I don't because I'm waiting for it to come back.
Okay.
Um, but it'll be before the festival, hopefully July at some point.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm sure we'll push it then as well. But that's a really cool
Yeah,
idea. It's like I say, obviously you're doing something that other festivals don't haven't done, as far as I'm aware.
yeah,
And it's such a good idea, and it's all for charity as well. And you're utilizing your resources, if you will. Obviously, be it the sponsors of the stage, obviously using for the mixing purposes, all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, no, I can't wait to hear it, to be honest, because it sounds like a cool project. And
yeah.
I saw some of the
So it'll
listings
be
there, so
it'll be on Bandcamp, and I'll be setting it to be like £1, but pay more if you want. So
yeah,
then people are free to donate a bit more if they want. Um, so yeah, at
cool,
some point there'll be a video. I won't mention who's making the video yet, but yeah, there'll be a little video for it and stuff.
nice, nice. Well, good luck with all that. Good luck with the festival, because I know it's a lot of hard work and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know why you put yourself through it, but everyone's different. Everyone's different. But I've got a couple of questions left for you, if I may.
Yeah, shoot.
Cool. So I ask everyone these questions. These are like my end of interview questions, if you will, the wind up questions. So you might, I don't know if you have to think about this or if you ever listened to my show before. It's a test of that. But um, what are your three most pivotal albums? So not necessarily your favorite albums, like favorite of all time, but ones or even let's go three songs if you want, if it's easier. But when you heard like that album or that song and it made you want to play an instrument, it made you want to be into, or it got you into the metal scene, if you will. Um, yeah, can you name them?
Uh, yeah, the album that made me pick up a guitar, um, sometimes surprises some. in the industry a little bit. But uh, chocolate starfish, hot dog flavored water
Oh, yes.
was Wes Borland. Wes Borland was the man that made me pick up a guitar and
Nice.
initially start playing. Um, yeah, and then maybe Alien by Strapping Young Lad.
Cool.
Um, can't think of a third. It
Right.
may well be the Roadrunner United album because I fucking loved that when it came out.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good album at the time when Roadrunner was at its
Mm.
well, I'd say one of its biggest moments, I think, and getting all their artists together like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean they were when that came out they were the kings, weren't they? Really?
well, and they got bought out, and that was it.
Yeah,
But they did have
it was
some.
cool, man. Because um, fucking Machine Head when they did their Secret Set at Bloodstock the other year, they played the Dagger. I was like, wow, man, so good hearing that. That was my alarm clock for like forever.
Oh man, that's right. No, it's right. I mean,
Yeah.
fucking Machine Head. Yes, yeah, they are insane. Um, so, and last question for you. So, away from all this
Mm.
stuff, what are your hobbies? If you have time for them, obviously.
So I spent most of my life skateboarding.
Yeah,
Um, up until I moved west and I lost the time to do it and the energy to do it. So it was only recently that I sort of stopped. But that was massive, massive part of my life, you
yeah,
know. Um, but yeah, I like the first skateboard I ever brought, the brand of that. Um, I ended up being like really good mates with the guy that owned that company. Um, and he came to my wedding and did the whole thing with the swords as you walk out the church and stuff. But he brought a load of his boards, and people came and held the boards like they were the swords
nice.
when we got married and that. But yeah, he put a couple of clips of me in their last uh, movie thing that they made. So for me, I've that's been like a big part of my life, but I feel okay with the fact I'm not doing it now because I made it into a professional skate video um, for the company that started it all out for me. I
Yeah,
kind of feel fulfilled from it.
nice.
Um, other than that, just music, dude. It's still, you know, I like a bit of art and I like all sorts, but this is where I get to sort of combine it all.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. Well, Martin, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. Good luck with Depravation Festival. Everyone, go
Yeah,
get tickets now. They're online anywhere at most ticket outlets. So I thought Eventbrite, all that kind of lot.
yeah. I mean, they're on my website, and
Yeah.
there's no booking fee if you do it on the website. So
Oh, nice. Yes. Do that then. Go to the website. No booking fee. That's what I like to hear. But those are,
But there is, but I've absorbed it in the price. If you do it anywhere else, then you're paying a ridiculous booking fee that I can't get out of because I'm not big enough. So
that's cool. Well, again, Martin,
yeah,
thank you very
just
much.
to the
I really
website.
appreciate your time. Good luck with everything. I look forward to hearing the single that you're producing. And yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Thank you.
No worries, man. Have a good evening. All right.
You too.